Can I make money on the shooter? Can I make money then on the session? That's my two main focuses. First, profit on the shooter. Second, profit on the second. Third, pedal to the metal. I want to get into this because this is the thing. This is like disagreement day. Skill and Luck and I, Dylan, and Ken, who's another good friend of mine, disagree on this point. Okay. And it's really, I think, the level of aggressiveness. Ken will never get aggressive. Ken is like conservative always. Skill's conservative mostly. I'm conservative early. I want to talk about this idea of bipolar craps, where you work your rack. You saw me today working my rack. I'm going to work the shit out of my rack. Conservative early. All I care about is get my bankroll to be neutral, locking in some profit, right, on the first or second shooter, maybe the second session, and that's it, right? I want to lock in session profit. I look at, can I make money on the shooter? Can I make money then on the session? That's my two main focuses. First, profit on the shooter. Second, profit on the second. Third, pedal to the metal, right? I don't go hard until I'm there. I've got my shooter locked in. I've got my session locked in. At that point, I feel like it's okay to go hard. I miss a ton of rolls. I miss out on 50 rollers all the time because I'll wait until roll 20 when I'm in that good position before I really hit it hard. And that's okay. That's my way of playing. I think you got to be okay with that if that's your thing. But I want to look at, like, how do you get aggressive late? At what point do you do it? When are your regressions coming? How are you locking that stuff up? And what does it look like to be aggressive in the late stages of a roll? So what I like to do is this. The conservative early plays to me, and here's the ones that I think if you're going to be in this mindset, makes sense. One hit and down if you have the bankroll to support it, okay? 320 across, one hit to 64 across. If you can afford that, you need $3,000 in your rack to do it. One hit and down, good, go for it. You want to go up and down, skill 66 or the skill 110 or the skill 330, great. Get 10 times that. You want to go 110 and do a drawdown, 110 to 88 to 66, right? You want to go Lagerman style or squeeze play style, great. But take your 2 or 3 hits on the shooter, get the hell out of that hand. Then you can go hard. The question I've got for you is, how do you handle your failures? Because this happens all the time, right? You go 66 inside, you get burned. You do it again, you get burned. You do it again, you get burned. Now you're down 180, $200 basically. You're down $200. What do you do in that case? When you're down 200 and it happens, right? What I've seen people do is run the 66 on the 4th shooter, which is fine. Get set up, and then they go for the ceiling, right? Okay, now we made it. Like today, I finally made it. Let's press into oblivion, right? Or I call that spray and play. Or you can be measured in it and say, well, I got it to work. That's $50. Turn it off. Let the shooter finish. Do it again, $50. Or you can, in the same shooter, 66 to 88, back to 66, 66 to 88, and back to 66, and work $50 at a time in the same shooter even to get back your $200 before you go in. That might take you 10, 15 rolls. That's what I was talking about earlier. You might burn a bunch of rolls to get back to even on the same shooter. It's really hard. And I want you to put yourself in that mindset. What do you do in a situation like this, right? You bought them for 500, the first shooter of the day, you're playing for free at 96 across, right? And you've racked 325. You got all these bets out there. You got, these huge ass bets, 350 on the 10, $100 on the 5. You Philly pressured up, right? You did great. What are you going to do right now? I want in chat, let me ask you, what would you do in this situation? You bought in for 500. The first shooter crushed it. You racked 325 in profit. That's more than your session goal. What is that? Like 65% profit, something like that, 60% profit. That's fantastic. And on the felt, you've got 350 on the 10, you got a $100 5. Your 6 made at 66, you got 9 is up to $50, and your 4 is at $100. You could pull all that down, right? You can hug the 350 and say, I'm letting all that money ride, right? You could collect 732, which is what's on the felt, and get the hell out of the casino with a $1,000 profit, right? Or you could collect 632 off the felt, reset yourself to 96 across, and then try it again. What's the better move there? And I want you to look at those moves. Really think about those moves, right? One, just let it happen. I'm happy with 350. If I lose the 700, that sucks, right? I could pull all that 700 out down and keep playing at 96 and try it again. But now you're probably at roll 25 on a shooter. The chance of turning that now $96 into something special is probably zero, right? You're lucky to make another few $100 out of that thing. Or just say, you know what? We hit it. It's $1,000, a nice even number, and I'm out of here. What do you do in that circumstance? I want to know. And so, Sideshow, I had this. This is why I'm putting this out to you. The reason why I put the scenario, I was in this exact scenario last week in Vegas. I was in this exact position. Okay. Here's what I did. I didn't do any of those things. It was a morning coffee run. I was playing with a subscriber named Paul. He did great. Would have flipped the 10. He actually flipped the 10, but the 10 was set as the point 3 times. So 3 of the 10s that he hit were points. Setting the point, never got paid. I still got the 10 up to 350. Okay, I did it. I started out with him $66. Skill 66, got to 88, spread to 64 across, built the 64 across up to 325 or so in profit. And I pulled it back down to 96 at that point with 325 in the rack. And I built from 96 to what you see here. That's what I had in the rack. I had $300 in profit. I had regressed to 96 and we built it all the way up. And I'm looking at my rack. I'm going, man, I got 300 and change out here. This guy's on fire. He's about to flip the 10, actually flip the 10. There's no way I'm pulling that 10 down. I want to see that thing hit, right? And I'm like, well, I can make the rest of those bets look like $15. I can go 81 across, right? Bring them all down but the 10. What do you do in this situation, right? If you're Ken, you're leaving with $1,000. Ken would never have been there. Ken would have been gone with the 325, right? Skill would have been half pressing all the way through. I Philly special this thing to this point here, and I was really thinking about what should I do in this spot. I really want to see this thing happen, but at the same time, you know, I wasn't quite. No, I think I was in profit by this time. So what did I do? I went to 330 or 320 across. I pulled down to 320 across, evened out my bets, even pulled the 10 down. I let the 350 come back, and I profited whatever that was, $400 and change. So I had like $750 in profit in my rack. Let the 320 out there. He rolled like 3 more numbers and quit. He's 7 out. So it turned out to be a good move. He did not hit the 10 again, so I didn't miss out on the 10 being flipped. But that was my decision in the moment. It was I didn't plan it, but it was a smart regression at that time to lock up more money. Could I have gone to 96 across and had more? Sure. But I thought, what the hell? And this dovetails back to the previous point, which is bipolar craps. I worked really hard. It took me 15, 20 rolls to get to where I had that 325 in the rack, right? Which represented not only session profit, shooter profit, session profit, and it put me over the hump for the week. That was the one that put me over the hump for the week in Vegas. And now I'm like, hey, cool, I got profit for the entire trip. Should I stay down here or pull back? I want you to think about what you would do in that situation, right? Dan says go to 96, right? Sideshow says, you want to see that? Yeah, like I said, I saw that, man. It was pretty cool. That guy, if he wouldn't have set the freaking 10 as the point, he'd have flipped that 10 twice. I would have made $1,000 on the 10 2 times. For sure. And I can tell you this, the casinos don't like this. I think Darkside is saying, they don't like when you do this kind of stuff. They don't like regressions. They think you're nuts. The dealers want you to go like crazy. It's funny. And anyway,